What if everything you thought you knew about Bitcoin was wrong? We've been told that Satoshi Nakamoto was an anonymous genius, a mysterious figure who created the world's first decentralized currency. But what if Bitcoin's origins go deeper, much deeper, into a world of organized crime, secret intelligence, and financial warfare? Dr. Jack Kruse has put forward a theory so shocking that it rewrites Bitcoin's entire history. What if Meyer Lansky, the financial mastermind behind organized crime, played a role in setting the stage for Bitcoin? What if cryptographic breakthroughs weren't just about technology, but part of a long game to outsmart centralized financial power? Welcome to the Chainpoint channel. Buckle up now, because this isn't just another Bitcoin theory. This is the story they don't want you to hear. If you're ready to dive into the deepest rabbit hole in crypto history, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and let's uncover Bitcoin's biggest secret. Satoshi Nakamoto is the pseudonym behind Bitcoin's creation, a name that has sparked countless theories and debates. Some believe it refers to a single genius, while others argue it represents a group of cryptographers, programmers, or even intelligence operatives. The mystery surrounding this identity adds to Bitcoin's decentralized ethos, as no central figure controls its fate. What's undeniable is that whoever Satoshi is, their innovation disrupted the entire financial system. Bitcoin emerged in 2008 with the release of the now legendary white paper, proposing a peer-to-peer digital currency. The concept was revolutionary, money free from government control, built on cryptographic security and decentralized consensus. But the question remains, how did one entity or group achieve such a groundbreaking idea? Could it be that Bitcoin's origins go deeper than we think? Some theories suggest that Satoshi was deeply involved in cryptography, having extensive knowledge of financial systems, game theory, and software engineering. The timeline of cryptographic advancements leading up to Bitcoin hints that its creation was not an overnight stroke of genius, but rather the culmination of decades of research. This raises the question, was Bitcoin purely an ideological movement, or was there a hidden mastermind behind its creation? As we dig deeper, one theory stands out, a theory that links Bitcoin's inception to a financial mastermind who played the long game. Could Meyer Lansky, a legendary figure in organized crime and financial manipulation, have laid the groundwork for the most disruptive technology of the 21st century? Let's explore this shocking possibility. Dr. Jack Kruse, a neurosurgeon and deep thinker, presented a controversial theory on a 4-hour podcast. He suggests that Bitcoin's origins are tied to a long-standing financial chess game played by powerful figures. According to Kruse, Bitcoin wasn't just a random invention. It was the result of a mastermind who understood the vulnerabilities of centralized money. His claim? The roots of Bitcoin trace back to organized crime, intelligence agencies, and cryptographic pioneers. Kruse's theory centers around Meyer Lansky, a financial genius within the criminal underworld. Lansky wasn't just another mobster. He was a strategist who built financial networks capable of bypassing government control. Kruse argues that Lansky's influence didn't die with him. Rather, his legacy continued through cryptographic advancements that ultimately led to Bitcoin. The theory implies that Bitcoin is not just a rebellion against the financial elite, but an evolution of underground financial tactics. The implications of this theory are staggering. If true, Bitcoin's creation was not just about decentralization, but about outsmarting the existing financial system in ways previously unseen. It suggests that those who built Bitcoin understood the mechanics of power, control, and black markets better than governments themselves. This raises a critical question. Was Bitcoin always destined to be a tool of financial freedom, or was it designed with a deeper agenda in mind? As we examine this theory further, we need to look at the man at its core, Meyer Lansky. How did this figure, deeply entrenched in organized crime and intelligence operations, play a role in the evolution of financial cryptography? Meyer Lansky, the money mobster. Meyer Lansky wasn't just another mobster. He was a financial architect who built a vast empire through intelligence, strategy, and an uncanny ability to manipulate money. Unlike the flashy criminals of his time, Lansky kept a low profile, ensuring he never officially owned anything, yet controlled everything. His expertise in money laundering and financial engineering allowed organized crime to thrive while staying ahead of government scrutiny. Lansky's brilliance wasn't just about hiding money, it was about understanding financial systems better than those who created them. He pioneered offshore banking, exploited legal loopholes, and even influenced the structures that governments later used to monitor and control financial transactions. His operations extended from the United States to Cuba, Europe, and Israel, creating a global financial network decades before the internet made such systems commonplace. Beyond crime, Lansky had deep ties to intelligence agencies with rumored connections to the CIA and FBI. He provided crucial support to U.S. military efforts, allegedly helping to secure the docks in New York during World War II to prevent Nazi infiltration. This cooperation gave him access to powerful circles and protected him from prosecution for most of his life. But his greatest impact may have come long after his death through the systems he helped create, which would later inspire new forms of decentralized finance. Could it be that Lansky's financial genius laid the groundwork for Bitcoin? His ability to navigate, control, and exploit financial networks mirrors the very principles that Bitcoin was designed to address. If Lansky's influence extended beyond his lifetime, then Bitcoin might not just be a tool for financial freedom, it could be the final move in a century-old game of economic chess. The birth of modern financial systems. Meyer Lansky's influence stretched beyond organized crime. He played a pivotal role in shaping modern financial systems. His innovative money laundering techniques were so effective that they eventually forced governments to rethink how financial regulation worked. He pioneered offshore banking, finding ways to store and move money in tax havens, a strategy still used by elites today. His operations exposed the vulnerabilities in centralized financial structures, proving that control over money was often an illusion. Lansky wasn't just evading the law, he was rewriting the rules of financial power. His deep connections with intelligence agencies allowed him to operate with near impunity, navigating a world where money, secrecy, and influence were the ultimate weapons. The CIA, FBI, and even the US military relied on figures like Lansky to fund covert operations, strengthening the link between organized crime and global finance. These networks operated in the shadows, influencing governments and economies without public knowledge. But perhaps the most significant legacy Lansky left behind was his foresight in financial technology. He understood that traditional finance was flawed and exploitable, which led him to back cryptographic research. His involvement in intelligence circles connected him to early computer networks and cryptographic advancements. This intersection between crime, intelligence, and finance became the breeding ground for what would eventually become Bitcoin. By the time Bitcoin emerged in 2008, the financial world had already been primed for decentralization. Governments had imposed stricter regulations, but the underlying problems remained the same. Was Bitcoin truly an organic response to financial corruption, or was it the logical next step in a system designed decades earlier? Las Vegas and Cuba connection. Lansky's financial empire didn't just exist in the shadows. It played a direct role in shaping modern gambling hotspots like Las Vegas and Havana. In the mid-20th century, he saw an opportunity where others saw wastelands, Nevada's deserts. While the Italian mafia provided the muscle, Lansky provided the brains, turning Vegas into a gold mine. Casinos became the ultimate money laundering machines, where dirty cash could be cleaned through gambling revenue, all while keeping law enforcement at bay. But Lansky's true financial stronghold was in Cuba. Before Fidel Castro's revolution, Havana was a playground for the world's elite, with Lansky pulling the strings behind the scenes. He built a thriving casino empire in partnership with the Batista regime, ensuring organized crime had a direct pipeline to untaxed wealth. With CIA backing, Lansky and his associates turned Cuba into a hub for intelligence operations, blackmail, and financial experiments that pushed the boundaries of money control. Then came the revolution. In 1959, Castro overthrew Batista and Lansky's empire crumbled overnight. Casinos were seized, assets were frozen, and millions in hidden wealth vanished. This event didn't just change Lansky's fortune, it forced him to rethink how financial systems could be controlled, secured, and made untouchable by governments. This moment of crisis planted the seeds for what would later become the foundation of digital, decentralized finance. The lessons Lansky learned from Cuba about financial resilience, anonymity, and government interference would influence a new era of financial innovation. His network adapted, seeking new ways to protect wealth outside of traditional banking. Was Bitcoin the ultimate evolution of this idea? As we explore the next chapter, the connections between intelligence agencies, cryptography, and Lansky's financial tactics become even clearer. Blackmail and intelligence influence. Meyer Lansky wasn't just a financial mastermind, he was a master of leverage. His control over the criminal underworld extended beyond money, it thrived on secrets. Through a network of illicit activities, including casinos, brothels, and intelligence ties, Lansky collected compromising information on some of the most powerful figures of his time. His biggest asset? FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover, a man rumored to be under Lansky's control due to blackmail material gathered over decades. Lansky's ability to manipulate intelligence agencies made him nearly untouchable. While the FBI aggressively pursued other crime bosses, Lansky remained elusive, often slipping through legal loopholes or avoiding prosecution altogether. He wasn't just bribing officials, he was controlling them. This deep connection between organized crime and intelligence operations created a murky world where financial influence dictated political decisions. His operations weren't limited to the United States. With ties to the CIA, Lansky played a role in covert operations, assisting with everything from World War II efforts to Cold War intelligence maneuvers. The US government, in turn, often turned a blind eye to his financial dealings in exchange for strategic cooperation. This dynamic reinforced the idea that true power wasn't held by those in office, but by those who controlled the flow of money and information. Bitcoin's core principles, decentralization, anonymity, and financial sovereignty, are direct counters to the kind of power Lansky and intelligence agencies wielded. But what if the very people who pioneered financial blackmail and covert funding also influenced the rise of cryptographic money? The next chapter unravels the link between intelligence-backed technological advancements and the birth of digital finance. DARPA, the internet, and crypto evolution. The creation of Bitcoin didn't happen in isolation. It was built on decades of cryptographic and technological advancements. A major player in this evolution was DARPA, the US military's research arm, which laid the foundation for both the internet and digital security. Starting in 1958, DARPA's work in networking, computing, and encryption became the backbone of modern cryptographic research. Without these innovations, Bitcoin as we know it wouldn't exist. DARPA's funding helped develop ARPANET, the precursor to the internet, and later contributed to advancements in cryptographic security. These technologies, initially designed for military use, found their way into the civilian world, influencing everything from financial systems to communication networks. As digital finance grew, so did the need for secure, decentralized methods of transaction, ideas that would later be embedded in Bitcoin's design. Lansky, always ahead of the game, had connections within these technological circles. His influence over intelligence agencies gave him access to classified projects, including early cryptographic research. If Lansky understood the potential of digital money decades before Bitcoin's creation, could he have been part of the force that shaped it? His expertise in laundering money and exploiting financial loopholes would have made him an early advocate for cryptographic transactions. Bitcoin's architecture is a direct challenge to traditional financial control, yet it was built on technology pioneered by the very institutions that sought to maintain financial dominance. Was Bitcoin an organic rebellion against centralized power, or was it a carefully constructed evolution of underground financial tactics? The answer may lie in the work of one man, David Chaum, a cryptographer whose research set the stage for digital currency. David Chaum's cryptographic breakthroughs. David Chaum is often considered the godfather of digital cash. In the 80s, long before Bitcoin existed, he developed the first cryptographic systems that allowed for private, untraceable transactions. His work on blind signatures and mixed networks laid the foundation for anonymous digital payments, concepts that would later be integral to Bitcoin's decentralized model. But what if Chaum's work wasn't just theoretical? What if it was funded and guided by forces that understood the future of money? Chom's research wasn't conducted in isolation. His ideas gained traction within intelligence and financial circles, raising questions about whether his innovations were purely academic or if they were part of a larger financial strategy. It's no coincidence that his company, DigiCash, attracted interest from major banks and governments. When DigiCash failed in the late 90s, the technology didn't disappear, it was simply waiting for the right moment to be reborn. Meyer Lansky's deep connections to financial secrecy and intelligence networks make his possible involvement in early cryptographic research a compelling theory. If Lansky had foreseen the digitization of money, he would have recognized Chom's work as a crucial step in building an untraceable financial system. Could it be that Lansky's shadowy influence helped shape the very principles that Bitcoin would later adopt? Chom's cryptographic breakthroughs were revolutionary, but they weren't the final step. The missing piece in creating true decentralized digital money was solving the double spending problem. That problem would eventually be cracked by another cryptographer, Len Sassaman. His work would tie together decades of research and bring Bitcoin's vision to life, timestamping and Bitcoin's breakthrough. One of the biggest challenges in creating digital money was preventing double spending, ensuring that a digital coin couldn't be copied and spent twice. The breakthrough solution wasn't just cryptography, it was timestamping. By linking transactions to a verifiable sequence of events, Bitcoin established an immutable ledger. This simple yet powerful innovation made decentralized money possible. Len Sassaman, a brilliant cryptographer, played a crucial role in this area. His work in anonymous communications and digital security aligned closely with the principles that Satoshi Nakamoto would later use. Sassaman contributed to the development of time-stamping protocols, working on cryptographic techniques that ensured the integrity and ordering of digital transactions. Key elements in Bitcoin's design. The connections don't end there. Sassaman was deeply involved with the cypherpunk movement, the very group from which Bitcoin emerged. He had direct relationships with many of the cryptographers credited with influencing Bitcoin, including David Chom and Hal Finney. His sudden death in 2011, just months after Satoshi Nakamoto vanished, has led many to speculate whether he was, in fact, the real Satoshi. Was Sassaman the final piece of the puzzle? Did he take the financial secrets that Lansky and Chom had set in motion and bring them to their ultimate conclusion? The next question is unavoidable. Was Len Sassaman actually Satoshi Nakamoto? Let's dive into the most compelling theory yet. Was Len Sassaman Satoshi Nakamoto? Len Sassaman's life was deeply intertwined with cryptography, anonymity, and the very principles that Bitcoin was built upon. As a leading researcher in the field, he worked on protocols that closely resemble the mechanisms found in Bitcoin's white paper. His connections to the cypherpunk movement and his direct involvement in cryptographic security make him one of the most compelling candidates for Satoshi Nakamoto. Sassaman wasn't just another cryptographer. He was a privacy advocate who understood the dangers of centralized control. His research focused on decentralization, secure communications, and resistance to surveillance. If anyone had both the motive and the ability to create Bitcoin, it was him. Adding to the mystery, Sassaman passed away in 2011, the same year Satoshi Nakamoto disappeared from public communication. Was this just a coincidence, or was there something more? The idea that Bitcoin was born from decades of financial warfare, intelligence operations, and cryptographic breakthroughs gives a new perspective on its origins. If Lansky's influence shaped the financial tactics behind Bitcoin and Chom's research provided the cryptographic foundation, could Sassaman have been the one to execute the final vision? Was Bitcoin the last great move in a century-long financial game? Satoshi Nakamoto's identity may never be confirmed, but the impact of Bitcoin is undeniable. It challenges the very institutions Lansky, Chom, and Sassaman sought to outmaneuver. Whether or not Sassaman was Satoshi, one thing is clear: Bitcoin was built on a legacy of financial resistance, secrecy, and innovation that stretches back far beyond its official launch in 2008. So, after everything we've uncovered, do you still believe Bitcoin was just the creation of a lone genius, or was it the culmination of decades of financial secrecy, intelligence operations, and cryptographic breakthroughs? If Meyer Lansky, David Chom, and Len Sassaman were all pieces of this puzzle, What does that mean for the future of money? Bitcoin has always been about more than just technology. It's a revolution against centralized control. But here's the real question. Was it designed to break the system, or was it built as the ultimate financial countermeasure from the very start? If Len Sassaman was truly Satoshi Nakamoto, did he leave behind a blueprint for something even bigger? Now, I want to hear from you. Who do you think Satoshi really was? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let's get this debate going. And if this story blew your mind, smash that like button, subscribe for more deep dives like this, and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching this, and I'll see you in the next video.